Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we consume so much media every single day, but have you ever actually stopped to think about what happens between the exact moment a video is rendered and the moment it plays flawlessly on your phone? It's pretty mind-blowing. To wrap our heads around this, I want you to imagine a very specific, ultra-realistic piece of content. Picture this. Inside a high-tech laboratory, a tiny metallic dragon egg rests on a futuristic workbench. Glowing blue energy pulses through the shell until, crack, it opens, revealing intricate gears, pistons, and mechanical wings. Piece by piece, these advanced robotic components assemble themselves into a powerful mechanical dragon with glowing eyes and carbon fiber armor. It spreads its wings and takes flight right through a neon cyberpunk city, all perfectly synced to an epic orchestral soundtrack. It sounds incredible, right? But to bring a high-definition 8K engineering masterpiece like that to screens all over the globe, well, that requires a massive technological journey. Today, we're going to uncover those invisible mechanics, from raw data compression to the algorithms and user-generated content shaping our global culture. Okay, let's dive into this with a number 167.96 gigabytes. Why on earth is that specific number important? Because if you have just a standard, uncompressed 720 by 480 resolution video, we're talking standard definition here, running at 30 frames per second for 90 minutes in full color, that is exactly how much data it eats up. Now, think about our incredibly detailed 8K mechanical dragon video, uncompressed. A file like that would be absolutely colossal. There is literally no way our devices have the memory or our networks have the bandwidth to handle that kind of raw data. And that sets up the absolute necessity of digital video compression. Without it, the digital video world as we know it simply wouldn't exist. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the science of video compression, move into essential video editing techniques, explore the video streaming revolution, decode the YouTube algorithm, and finally, look at the power of user-generated content. Section 1. The science of video compression. So how do we take that staggering 167 gigabytes of data and squish it down to a manageable size without completely ruining the picture of our metallic dragon? The answer lies in something called lossy compression. Basically, it's the process of reducing file sizes by permanently tossing out redundant data. Think of it like packing a suitcase for a trip. If you have 5 identical shirts, you throw 4 out because you only really need 1. In video, we use 2 main tricks to do this. First is intra-frame compression. That removes spatial redundancy within a single frame. Like if there's a huge patch of the exact same blue sky above our flying dragon, the computer just says, hey, it's all this shade of blue, instead of saving every single pixel. Then we have interframe compression, which removes temporal redundancy between sequential frames. So if our background cyberpunk city doesn't change from one frame to the next, the video file doesn't save the whole city again. It just saves the new data, like the dragon's moving wings. Pretty clever, right? And this brilliantly illustrates just how fast this tech has evolved. These compression algorithms, known as codecs, have come a long way. Back in 1991, we had MPEG-1, giving us that classic VHS quality. By 1994, MPEG-2 stepped it up to DVD quality. But check out 2003, the H.264 standard. This was a massive, game-changing leap. In fact, it is so robust that it's still used by a staggering 91% of video developers today for recording, compression, and distribution. More recently, in 2013, we got HEVC, or H.265. This handles more varied block sizes for way greater efficiency and is currently used by 43% of developers. It's exactly the kind of tech paving the way for our ultra-realistic 8K dragon footage. Section 2. Essential video editing techniques. Now that our digital footage is effectively compressed and stored, we transition from the hardcore science of data right into the art of storytelling. This is where nonlinear editing comes in. Have you ever noticed how natural conversations in movies feel? That's almost always thanks to J and L cuts. With a J-cut, the audio from the next scene begins before the video actually cuts to it. So imagine hearing the mechanical whirring of gears and pistons and the swell of that epic orchestral soundtrack before we even see our dragon spread its wings. With an L-cut, it's the opposite. The audio from the current scene carries over as the video transitions into the next scene. These techniques seamlessly weave the audio and visual elements together, completely eliminating that jarring feeling of a hard, sudden cut. But the editor's toolkit goes way beyond J and L cuts. We also have cutting on action. This literally means cutting from one shot to another right in the middle of a movement, like our dragon breathing blue energy fire as it launches into the neon cyberpunk city. It creates the illusion of totally uninterrupted time. Then we use montages to condense time and cross-cutting to build tension by jumping between 2 simultaneous events. And we absolutely cannot forget color grading. That's what gives that neon city its moody, high dynamic range aesthetic. Pair that with immersive sound design to make those rotating gears feel heavy and real, and you've got movie magic.
Section 3. The Video Streaming Revolution.
All right, our 3-minute cinematic masterpiece is edited, compressed, and ready for the world. And what a massive world it is. The global video streaming market that our video is entering reached an astonishing $130.7 billion in 2025. It is literally a foundational layer of the modern digital economy now, and it is definitely not slowing down. Experts project it to expand at an 18.4% compound annual growth rate, reaching a massive $567.2 billion by 2034. That incredible growth is driven by high-speed internet, smart devices, and an absolute, insatiable global appetite for content. Within this massive market, we're seeing a real evolution in how these platforms operate. Right now, the landscape is heavily dominated by two primary models. First up is SVOD, or subscription video on demand. These are your classic premium, ad-free platforms. Think Netflix or Disney+. But what's gaining incredible momentum lately is AVOD, ad-supported video on demand. These are services like Tubi or Pluto TV that offer free or freemium access in exchange for watching targeted ads. We're actually even seeing a hybrid approach emerge today, where the premium platforms introduce lower-cost, ad-supported tiers just to broaden their reach. But where are people actually watching all this? Our viewing habits have fundamentally shifted. Smartphones and tablets now account for over 45% of total streaming hours globally. This reflects a heavily mobile-first consumer behavior. And because people are watching on the go, often under wildly varying network conditions, technologies like adaptive bitrate streaming and the rollout of 5G networks are absolutely crucial. They are the only reason our 8K Dragon doesn't suddenly turn into a pixelated buffering mess while you're trying to watch it on the subway. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how the content actually finds you. Section 4, decoding the YouTube algorithm. So you've compressed the video, you've edited it beautifully, you've uploaded it. But how does a platform like YouTube actually decide if anyone is going to see it? Well, YouTube generates over 1 billion hours of watch time daily. Their ultimate goal? To maximize the time viewers spend on the platform. Therefore, the algorithm heavily prioritizes viewer satisfaction over raw view counts. Gone are the days when a cheap clickbait title could trick the system. Today, YouTube leverages sophisticated artificial intelligence and large language models to deeply evaluate the content itself, the context, and even the emotional tone. A video with fewer views but incredibly high audience retention will be pushed far harder than a video that gets 1 million clicks but sees everyone leave after just 10 seconds.
So how exactly is that satisfaction measured? The algorithm basically looks at 4 core metrics. Step 1 is the click-through rate, or CTR. A solid CTR ranges from 2 to 10%, which just means your thumbnail and title did their job and got people to click. Step 2 is audience retention. If 50 to 60% of your viewers stay to the very end, that is a good sign. But if you hit 70% retention, your video earns massive priority in the recommendations. Step 3 is total watch time, which heavily dictates algorithmic favor. And finally, step 4 is viewer feedback, likes, comments, and shares, which signals to the AI that active engagement is happening. If our mechanical dragon video nails these 4 steps, as it soars above mountains and lands on that futuristic tower at sunset, the algorithm is absolutely going to make it a viral sensation.
Section 5. The Power of UGC. Now, as these videos are distributed and consumed, something really fascinating is happening. Audiences aren't just passively watching anymore. They are creating. The statistics anchoring this user-generated content, or UGC revolution, are just staggering. The global UGC market is currently worth $5.36 billion and is expected to rocket to $32.6 billion by 2030. Why the explosion? Because of trust. 84% of people are more likely to trust a brand if they use user-generated content in their marketing. In fact, consumers now feel UGC is 9.8 times more impactful than polished traditional influencer content. And hey, this isn't just a Gen Z trend. 55% of consumers across all age groups now trust UGC over other marketing strategies. People want authenticity, right? They want to see real people sharing real experiences. So the crucial point here is that there is a massive gap between what consumers actually want and what industries are currently doing, particularly in spaces like travel and hospitality. Check this out. While featuring UGC on a website can increase a visitor's time on site by up to 90%, a surprising 77% of resorts and hotels are still relying on expensive, highly staged professional photos for their ads.
Brands that fail to pivot to authentic, user-generated visual marketing are quite literally leaving massive amounts of consumer trust and revenue on the table. And if we're talking about the undisputed king of this UGC movement right now, it is short-form video without a doubt. The data clearly shows that short-form content across Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, which, by the way, now boasts over 2 billion monthly logged-in users, has become the absolute top investment priority for digital marketers today. It's fast, it's highly engaging, and it is perfectly tailored for that mobile-first audience we discussed earlier. From shedding redundant pixels to soaring through complex recommendation algorithms and inspiring millions to create their own content, the journey of a digital video really is a technological marvel. But the landscape never stops evolving. As we look to the horizon, the convergence of artificial intelligence, lightning-fast 5G networks, and highly immersive formats like virtual reality are setting the stage for an entirely new, decentralized era of viewing. The boundaries between creator and consumer are completely dissolving. So, as this incredible medium transforms once again, I'll leave you with this question. How will you adapt to the next era of content? Thank you so much for watching this explainer, and keep exploring.